Morning, it's Brentley here from Huckabones. We've got a real nice trailer that's going to be a little bit unique, so we want to feature this on today's episode and show you the Super Roll-Off series from Weberlane. Stay tuned. All right, so behind me here, we've got a 16-foot roll-off, and we're gonna go through a few of the options here of what you can do, but this was custom made for a local township, and what they're gonna do is have multiple bins like the red part behind me, that's actually gonna roll off this trailer and be sitting on the ground. Neat aspect of, loading your machine in, loading, your garbage or material in. You could actually drive right into the bin with your tractor or excavator and, do that kind of thing, where a dump trailer you have to lift over the side, when it's on the trailer, makes it even higher. So totally rolls off the trailer. We'll show you the video. You're gonna winch it back on and roll it on the trailer, and this just gives you options of multiple uses with a single trailer. Where this could come really into effect is your maintenance standpoint. You're not servicing multiple dump trailers or multiple float trailers. You're servicing one set of brakes and tires and trailer and safety in them and all that, and having multiple decks and bins to use with that trailer. So really handy. Lots of options here that we're going to go through and kind of paint a picture for you. So let's dive into all the options on the dumps, and then we'll look at the flat decks and the trailers. All right, so starting with the bins on these trailers. So the Super Roll-Off series has 4 bin options. They're all going to be 78 inches wide, so they fit in between the fenders, and they're all going to be 36-inch tall sides. And why they do that is so you reach a certain cubic yard capacity. So you're going to have a 10, 12, 14, and this is a 16-foot long dump trailer or dump bin option. And each of them are going to have, so the 10-foot has 8 cubic yards capacity. The 12 is going to have 10 cubic yards, the 14 is going to have 12 cubic yards, and this 16-foot has 14 cubic yard capacity with measuring the sides, the width, and the length. So right here is a couple of different pinholes of, you can buy the longest trailer bottom, like we have here, the 16-footer for the 16-foot bin, but you could also have multiple bins that are smaller and still use that same trailer. So you'll adjust that black pin back a hole to make sure that your trailer's pinned on and over the wheels for weight. You don't want them all the way forward because that'd be a lot of tongue weight on your truck. So they do multiple pinning spots for the smaller bins with the larger bottom trailer. So neat aspect there that you don't have to buy all 16-foot bins because you bought a 16-foot trailer. You can buy any one of the 4 or multiples of all those bins, and it still works with the same base trailer. All right, so moving to the base of the trailer now, you're gonna start with 5,200-pound axles. Again, these are gonna be brakes on all 4 wheels, 15-inch tires. The upgrades then can be 6,000 or 7,000 pound axles like this trailer has. So this goes to an 8-bolt hub and rim and a 16-inch tire when you go to the 6s or 7s. Just again, giving you more capacity. So if you don't need that weight in your box, or if you're buying the flatbed options and you don't need the extra weight, then you don't have to have these heavy of axles. They do make them multiple ways, which is really nice. So again, the trailers, just like the bins, are gonna have those 4 options of 10, 12, 14 and 16 foot like this one for lengths. They're all going to be the same build of fenders on them, 78-inch box fits between them, all that kind of thing. But you will have those options of axles and then lengths. The nice thing that we did here, or the upgrade that we did for this customer, is we galvanized dipped the actual frame of the trailer side. The boxes are all painted. Again, they're not going to see as much, wear and tear down the road and everything that way. But they wanted to have a galvanized dip frame that's going to be on the road all the time. So this is what they did there, of build the whole trailer, galvanized dip the frame, gives you an extra protection instead of just painting the trailer when it is steel construction. What we're looking at here is your pivot point is actually on that pin where that would be your typical dump trailer pin of where that box tilts. So what they're doing here with the back part of the frame is they're allowing that to tilt so that roll-off bin can, like I said, easily be on and off. They're also letting your license plate and your lights and everything are out of the way, but they've got to be the furthest back point for law, so they have to tilt as well. And it's neat that it's all on a fixed frame that way, that it tilts with the with the frame, but it doesn't get in the way at the same point. All right, so at the front of the trailer, again, it's gonna look a lot like a dump trailer because in a sense, this is what it is. But what you're gonna have in this box is your battery, your hydraulic pump, your breakaway kit for if your brakes need to be applied on the trailer. If it got disconnected from the truck, there is a breakaway kit and everything in there. The neat thing is you have a wired remote for your hydraulic dump part, so that's your tilt option, and then you have a wireless and a wired remote for backup in case batteries go dead for your winch. And you've got two winch options. You got your 12,000 pound winch if you're just going with the standard trailer and box sizes, and with your larger one and larger axles, then we've upgraded this to the 18,000 pound winch, so a little bit more pull power. So again, you can be running these, again, need two hands to do it, but you can run them simultaneously because it does help that you are tilting the tilt bed of the trailer along with pulling the bin up with the winch at the same time. So we'll show that as we're doing it, that we can pull this in and out and tilt that down as you see fit. And again, once you get it down to a certain way, it's going to pull a little easier, but you're going to pull it all the way up until the black pins are in there, because that's your safety pinning parts of where you're going to hook your safety pins in, that this is latched and ready to go down the road. Just like that, and of course there's one on the other side. But that's going to pin your box on. It's also added with the winch that it's secured that way, but it's pinned to that trailer now. All right, so we're going to start with the front. Again, every trailer's got your safety chains, your 7-pin wiring that we've got hooked up for the lights and power on this. The jack is a 5,000 pound standard jack with drop leg. Again, you could upgrade that to a heavier jack if you wanted to. The purpose of that would be if you're going to actually take this trailer off the truck and the bin's fully loaded, you're going to want more than 5,000 pound capacity. But if you're going to do it with the bin empty or no bin on it at all, then, you know what I mean, 5,000 pounds is lots of jack for this. And then you of course have the option of your adjustable hitch. You can do the 2 5/16 ball or pintle like this person did, and that's your last attaching part to the truck. You've got your breakaway cable that we talked about. The Bauer breakaway battery is in the box, but your cable goes to the truck. And again, if that gets pulled out, that your trailer came unhooked, which we never hope happens, that would apply your 12-volt power to your 4 brakes and stop that trailer from passing you down the road. All right, around the back of the trailer here now, we're just going to show you a couple of the last features on the bin, starting with the barn door. So again, this is your only option. It's not like a dump trailer where you need ramps, because you're actually going to unload this bin, put it on the ground, and drive in if you need to load something. But you've got your barn doors that'll open up, swing open. There is a pin latch that's going to go up here. This pin will go to here, and that'll hold them open for if you wanted to dump this. Again, you have this full, you want to go to the dump. You're not going to unload it, of course, and put it down on the ground. You're actually going to tilt it straight up like a dump trailer and let everything slide out. So those doors have to pin open and latched so that they don't come swinging and get bent. And then the other thing right at the front will be your tarp kit. Again, way easier to do this when the bin's on the ground to put your tarp on than up high, because it is 3 feet in the air on top of the trailer. So probably about 5-6 feet in the air is that crank, and just again, it's a little bit awkward to use and pull out. So a lot better when it's on the ground, but you can see the rollers back here when we're looking. You can see the nice bin, heavy sidewalls. Again, most dump trailers have these on the outside. They put them on the inside to keep everything straight and narrow and seamless on the outside. And good reinforced 3-foot wall. All right, so the other option that we don't have here today is a flatbed option. So you can actually do a flatbed deck trailer that's for hauling equipment. The neat thing there is, again, it's going to roll off and be flat on the ground and have a little bit of ramp at the back to load with, or possibly, depending on what you're loading and if it could take the angle, is you could leave it on the trailer, put the ramps down, and drive right on. So they do have 4 deck options, the same, again, same sizes as the bins on the trailers. You've got your 10, 12, 14, and 16 foot long deck trailers. But what they do is 2 width options. So you can be the same as this bin where it's 78 inches wide. It's going to fit in between those fenders. And what that's going to do is get that deck lower to the ground, especially if you're going to load with the ramps and leave it on the trailer. The other option you have is a 96 inch wide. So it'd be a deck over, they call it. So that deck's going to be over the fenders. So it's going to sit a lot higher going down the road like a normal deck over trailer would. It's going to be over these fenders, but that would give you an extra, 12 inches, 18 inches of loading of width and no fenders to work around. So if you're loading pallets, things from the side, a lot nicer trailer to use when those fenders are out of the way. All right, just to wrap up today's video, it is a Weberlane Super Series tilt roll-off series. This is a 16-foot behind us trailer and bin. Again, you can do a 10, 12, 14, or 16-foot trailer, bin, or flat deck option. Again, if you buy the longer trailer, it fits all the smaller bins or flat decks by moving those front pins of where that trailer is going to pull onto for length. So nice and universal, multiple options, lots of use, and just having one trailer maintained is the big reason why you're looking at this series. So if you like today's video, click that button below, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments.
Okay, so we're gonna roll the box off, so we're gonna lift it up. And roll the bin out. Winch the bin out. And drive ahead a little bit more. So you're going to tilt the bed to get it so that the hook passes the center rail. And so that it gets onto the bottom rollers. And then once it hits the bump stop, put your pins, lock pins back in so that it doesn't roll off if the cable winches to break. And then you set it down.